Can you still use Windows 7 in 2024? Let's find out. Windows 7 is a major release of the Windows NT operating system, released to manufacturing in July 2009, and shortly after, it was also released to the general public in October 2009, and Windows 7 was the most popular version of Windows used on all desktop and laptop computers by the end of 2010, according to StatCounter's results from December 2010. Since then, however, Windows 7 has been surpassed by newer and better versions of Windows, and whether you hate Windows 8 and 8.1 or not, you gotta admit, it was a stepping stone in the direction that would eventually get us what we all know and love today, Windows 10, which brought back the infamous Start menu. Ironically, this was completely removed in Windows 8, and still absent in 8.1, so Windows 10 was the fix for that. Windows 7 was still very popular when Windows 10 hit the scene in mid-2015, and by 2019, Windows 7 still had roughly 40% market share worldwide, just before it was set to retire on January 14, 2020. This is when Microsoft officially stopped supporting Windows 7 for good. No more security patches, bug fixes, improvements to the OS, etc., and no more technical support from Microsoft, so Windows 7 is now outdated and unsupported, yet about 3% of desktops worldwide still run this very old system. Windows 7 was probably one of the most popular versions of Windows before Windows 10 took that spot, and Windows XP was previously the most popular, and Vista, which was something in between XP and 7, failed miserably due to high hardware requirements, which at the time, many hardware vendors could not make compatible machines, so you were either left on Windows XP, or you had a very bad experience on Vista, and were unable to use the Hourglass interface, which led to many sticking with XP until Windows 7 hit the scene in late 2009, which finally got people going away from Windows XP, though many still used XP up until it reached its end of life in April 2014. Windows 7 stopped getting new features in January 2015, and it stopped receiving extended support, excluding the Extended Security Updates program, specially offered for businesses, ended in January 2020, and the ESU program was ceased January 10, 2023, the same day Windows 8.1 lost its extended support, so that means that Windows 7 has been out of support for 4 years. And those who got the extended updates through 2023, you're now 1 year out of date, and there have been many new flaws discovered since Windows 7 stopped getting support, and think of how easy it is to infect Windows 7. It's so much easier than both Windows 10 and Windows 11, so you're gonna have to be super careful if you plan on using Windows 7 online, and preferably, use an up-to-date operating system that still gets crucial updates. But if your hardware is not compatible with Windows 10, or Windows 11, then you may want to find a lightweight operating system tailored to older or less powerful hardware, and the best system of choice in this regard is Linux, because there are so many different distributions, you can find one that will suit your system. A great Linux distro I highly recommend you check out is Linux Lite, specifically designed for less powerful computers. Linux Lite is a simple, fast, and secure operating system that's free and open source, and it uses the XFCE desktop environment, but the really nice part about Linux Lite is that it runs really well on older computers. Do you want some proof? I literally installed it on my 13-year-old desktop, and it runs even better than what Linux Mint or Ubuntu did, so I think it's best suited for older or less powerful machines. Bear in mind I have 16 GB of DDR3 RAM, an Intel Xeon E3, 1225 processor, a 512 MB NVIDIA video card, with no VRAM, and a 1 TB Seagate hard drive, and this thing ran slow with Windows 10, like it would suck up half my resources on idle. Linux Lite uses 700 MB of RAM, so not even super close to 1 GB worth of memory usage. About 10% of my system's entire resources are used when idle in Linux Lite, If that doesn't show you how well this runs on older systems, I don't know what does. So, can you still use Windows 7 in 2024? No, it's not possible. I mean, technically, yes, you could, but now you're gonna have to go download a bunch of drivers and system updates, and fully update Windows 7 to its last official patches that were rolled out for it, and then you're gonna need to hunt down all sorts of drivers for your system, and depending on what type of PC or laptop you have, it may be difficult to find the right drivers. You could use driver software, but I would recommend you steer clear of that stuff. It's known to be malicious in many cases, so don't go downloading driver management programs. You're likely to cause major damage to your OS if you do. Also, many browsers no longer support Windows 7, and Firefox is one of the remaining ones that will stop supporting Windows 7 in September 2024, so you've got less than a year to go before they stop supporting it too. There might be other viable alternatives to Chrome, Edge, and Firefox, but these are by far the most popular and used browsers, especially Google Chrome, so not being able to use Chrome, or even Edge, would have to be a massive letdown, and while you can still use the older versions, you're putting your security at serious risk. And you're not gonna have new features or improvements, you're stuck in the mud, and there's nothing you can do about it. What about gaming? Nope, not at all. Steam says you must use the supported operating system in order to play your games. If the game was on physical media, then you should be able to play that without any massive drama, unless it requires internet connectivity. A fundamental and crucial piece of software you definitely want to use is an antivirus program. Freebies such as Avira or AVG are great, but there's also Kaspersky, Asset Security, Bitdefender, and other antivirus solutions, but even then, you're still not gonna be 100% fully protected against the latest threats, so it's like playing a game of whack-a-mole. You hit one mole, another comes up, and it keeps going on forever. That's what you're attempting to do to continue using Windows 7 as it keeps getting less and less secure. So honestly speaking, I think you might be better off using a lightweight Linux operating system, and if Linux is not your cup of tea, why not try Google's Chrome OS Flex? This can run Android and Linux apps natively. It comes with a ton of Google apps and services, and it's very good for older and less powerful machines, and it's completely free to use. So I would highly recommend that anyone still using Windows 7 give a lightweight operating system a go. Trust me, it's a lot more secure and safe than staying on an unsupported OS, and I don't care that you love Windows 7. It was great for its time, but times are always changing, and we keep moving forward, not backwards, so holding on to Windows 7 is like flogging a dead horse. There is literally no point in attempting to use it, because you're just gonna cause yourself unnecessary frustration and drama, and it's a major hassle finding and hunting down the right drivers for Windows 7, especially now that it's out of support, and with more and more software dropping support every day. Why must you persist on using this ancient operating system? You are the definition of stupid if you think Windows 7 is a good viable OS to use in 2024. Because without constant security updates from Microsoft, you're left vulnerable to security threats which could seriously harm or compromise your system and security. So just get off Windows 7, stop flogging a dead horse. Why on God's green earth would you attempt a pointless exercise? It just does not make any sense whatsoever. So stop using Windows 7 in 2024, give Linux Lite a try, or give Google's Chrome OS a go. It's going to save you lots of drama in the long run. Anyway, that's it for this video folks. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next video. Bye for now.